Well, Singapore's turning to robots and manpower-intensive sectors to help firms cope with the labour crunch and open new doors for young talent. Even then, robot manufacturers say there is a long way to go before these bots can be readily adopted in everyday life. Rachel Matthew tells us more.
This robot dog functions much like its canine counterpart. It patrols the area to keep an eye out for intruders. Its manufacturer, Western Robots, hopes that working with such machines will attract more young people to join sectors like facilities management.
The reason we provide more robots in this area because it is a labor-intensive area, and it's very difficult to attract our Singaporean, especially young fellow, to enter this segment. However, using robots, we change the landscape of this area by allowing robots to do the job, while our young talent try to manage or service the robots behind.
It's a sentiment shared in other industries grappling with a manpower crunch. At restaurants like this, such robots which help to carry heavy dishes can be a big relief for servers.
This job is very hard, so they need to walk at least 5 to 10 kilometers a day, and they need to lift a lot of heavy things. But this robot can help them to work less and live less. We want to help servers work efficiently. For example, they can pay more attention to their customers, so maybe they can get more orders.
These robots may help in our daily lives, but the firms behind them face an uphill climb when it comes to innovation.
One of the challenges is the talent acquisition. We are surrounded by many big companies, and they provide very good packages to the fresh engineers. So as a small company here, it's very difficult to attract talent.
Even if the tech exists, there might not be a system present to support its use. For instance, delivery robots are yet able to enter lifts of buildings to send food to different floors.
We have some issues with integration because only a robot can work something, but integration with other systems like POS or QR code system, tablet system can work better and help them more efficient.
Ultimately, firms say they hope that the public sector can take the lead in adopting automation to narrow the gap between man and machine.
And for more on where Singapore stands in its robotics journey, we are joined now in the studio by Kwek Tong Boon. He's Chief Executive of the National Robotics Programme. And Dylan Ng, he's CEO of Alliance Bot International. That's a local company that specialises in cleaning robots. Good evening, gentlemen. It's good to see both of you. Good to see you again in the studios, Prof. Kwek. The first question to you. You've been involved, of course, in Singapore's robotics programme right from the outset. Way back in the 80s when computerization was very new. You also specialised in the National Robotics Programme. What targets did you set back then? How far have we come?
Just to clarify the point about computerization and robotics. Actually, my career started in MINDEF in the DSO National Lab. In the early 80s, I was already working on some form of robots, some form of flying robots. But that's another story for another day. But coming back to the target, the goals of the National Robotics Programme, our broad vision is to develop a vibrant robotics ecosystem in Singapore. And over the last few years, the strategy we have adopted manifold. First, through our R&D funding, we aim to create differentiating capabilities for Singapore. And secondly, we also reach out to potential adopters to understand better their pain points as well as the use cases. So over the last, first 5 to 7 years, our focus has been mainly on the public sector. So let me illustrate, for example, the National Environment Agency, where a lot of their problems and pain points were about cleaning of the public spaces. So through that, that helped to inspire and influence some of our investment in technology. And the R&D team, we should build out some of these capabilities, they not only develop R&D, we also encourage them to look for potential industry partners. So Dylan is a good example. His company came about through a JV, a joint venture between the SUTD that developed this capability and his parent company, they created a JV. So I think I'm glad that the company has been quite successful. So in terms of numbers, we have up to date catalyzed, funded more than 50 R&D projects. So what's the outcome? What's the result? I can probably give some numbers in terms
All right,
of...
I'm going to have to interrupt you right here since
Okay.
you brought in Mr. Ng.
Yes.
Pardon me, yes, double check. Yes, it is Mr. Ng.
Yes.
Yeah. What he mentioned, all the and the fact that they have had to evolve their strategy suggests that this is not always easy. Now, LionsBot specializes in cleaning, and looking at your website, it has got a great, it is in fact a success story.
Yes.
But it has not been so easy all this time, has it?
Sorry, I'm just coughing it, but yeah, the robotics journey is a very exciting adventure. It is not there's no clear path ahead, but it is a very exciting thing because robots is fast growing. So every innovation is new, every new introduction, every new idea, we can actually be world first, or we could shine a light for other companies in that sense. So right now, our robots, we have two.
Very quickly.
Yes.
It's not as if Singapore is the only one doing this. So
Yes.
it's not that easy to be a world first, is it?
Yes, but actually Singapore is a world leader in cleaning, all right, and Singapore is one of the cleanest cities, and with the National Environmental Agency's encouragement and adoption of robotics, actually Singapore has the highest number of cleaning robots for any city in the world right now. And because of such an environment, we get to compete with a lot of different types of competitors, and we are measured to a much higher standard.
Prof. Quek, we see robots in many different spheres. Apart from the cleaning sector, we're seeing it in medicine as well. We're seeing it in landscaping, as an example. We've got robotic grass cutters right behind our building. How else do you anticipate that robots are going to change the face of Singapore? I mean, we're always asking this question, are they going to take everybody's job or not?
Well, the focus of our program is on what we call service robotics. So we are looking at a class of robots that can assist and help people. So for example, in the healthcare sector, we are developing robots that help, let's say, the nurses to lighten their workload, to help stroke patients to recover more quickly. Okay, and then in the other sectors, construction, for example, we do have a lot of robots that can help to lighten the workload in the construction site, and also to inspect buildings once they are completed. So, and then you mentioned about landscaping. We do have a class of robot that's helping in the landscaping, in pest control, and this type of application. So this is a class of application where they tend to be either too boring, very demanding, or could be dangerous for humans, you know. So that's where we are aiming at.
Yeah.
So the aim is more to take the drudgery out of our work, to make it less dangerous, rather than take you out of our work. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the construction industry, as you say, I mean, safety is important.
Sure.
So robots are actually helping perhaps make the landscape safer for robots.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan, what about your other plans that you have for your overseas? You were talking to us about the deployment of some of those robots overseas as well in certain airports, not just in Singapore.
Yes, just like in Singapore, many of the cleaners are getting older, and it's getting really hard to find cleaners in many countries. So LionsBot has, we have shipped to over 30 countries. So you'll see our robots running in airports like Schiphol airports, in office buildings, in schools, and universities, from Australia, Japan, Europe, USA, Canada. And it really helps the cleaners, because floor cleaning takes up about 70% of a cleaner's time. And if a robot can clean the floor, then the cleaner is able to focus on customer service. The cleaner is able to focus on finer details of cleaning. A lot of times, because of the attention to a much bigger cleaning area, they can't do to the very best, you know, because cleaners, they have this pride that they really want to touch up everything tip-top.
Yeah, I wish I had a robot at home to help me out sometimes.
Yes, take the drudgery out of our
Take
lives.
the drudgery out of your right.
Yes, all the tediousness.
Exactly. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming into the studio to share with us more about robotics and Singapore's future. We've been speaking there to Kwek Tong Boon, Chief Executive of the National Robotics Program, as well as Dylan Ng, CEO of LionsBot International.